people have put their lives on the line for this, and it's still being taken away. It's still being stolen. Now here, I'll just bring everybody up with a positive story, and then we'll get back into the where we are right now. But I drove a 91-year-old African-American woman to the polls in 2008 for her very first election. And I think watching somebody exercise their right to vote for the first time at 91 was an incredibly motivating experience for me, and it taught me how precious this is, and I hope that everyone uses it tomorrow. So, but it is concerning that you're laughing at me. I know.
I'm smiling.
It's concerning that it's concerning that so many people right now, that Brian Kemp has ratcheted things up to this level because he's so threatened by Stacey Abrams. Do you think we're going to have a fair election?
I think that a lot of what we've talked about has already been baked in. I think the Democrats have the perfect candidate to actually overcome this. But
overcome doesn't mean fair, right? It's not going to be fair. There are a lot of people who aren't going to be able to vote.
This is already baked in to be an unfair election.
Right.
It's already in the Georgia system. But when an election starts in Georgia between a Democrat and a Republican, it's going to be unfair.
Right. So you have to fight doubly hard to overcome that.
That's exactly it. And you have to come out, and you have to have massive numbers of your voters come out. It can't just be enough to maybe get you 50 plus 1 to avoid the runoff. You have to have enough that you whittle off the 4 or 5 points that are going to be suppressed or intimidated or not show up. You need extra people in order to just get over the finish line. A fair election is one thing. The question for our show is, do you think Stacey Abrams is going to win?
That's not a question that are you saying that that's literally the question that I should answer, or?
I'm saying that is the question in front of it. Like at the end of all this.
Right. Can she? I want to know, can she win?
Yes, she can win. She can win. She can win. And I think that turnout operation is really phenomenal. And I think if they do what they have aligned to do, that operation is so phenomenal. Brian Kemp was caught on secret recording worrying about it. That's like they're worried that millions and millions and millions of people who don't normally get to vote in Georgia are going to show up and run the table and blow this thing out of the water. The polling says it's not going to be that way, but as we've talked about the last time we were here, the polling has underestimated Democratic performance now for almost 2 years. So, yeah, she can win. She can win. I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up going to a runoff next month. I wouldn't at all, actually. But she could win. Out of the 3 possibilities, I think Andrew Gillum is going to win in Florida. He's in the best position. Stacey Abrams is the one in the middle, and then Beto has the hardest climb because of Texas. And just because of how much of the situation in Texas, like Georgia, but probably even worse because they keep their intimidation and cheating on the down low. Georgia's problem has been they've been so overt about it.
Because they're not used to being watched.
Yeah.
But in terms of Texas, we have all of this these record numbers of new voters.
Yeah.
So that those people are not being when they poll likely voters, they're not
being polled.
Right. They're not making way for how many new people you registered to vote, right? So
right. Just like Stacey Abrams in Georgia, if she's bringing out people that don't normally vote, those people aren't reflective in the polling. So, the other thing is there have been so many ballots cast. The other thing the Abrams campaign had is a massive mail-in voting operation. Another thing Brian Kemp was caught on tape worried about. That's why they tried to suppress the mail-in vote. So a lot of the stuff that Kemp tried to pull in the last day or two isn't going to be effective with people that already voted.
That's right. That's a really good point. In terms of the next election, how important is it that we have an election fairness in general? That's what I'm getting at. That we have Democratic governors in several of these key states.
Oh, I have never liked you as much as I like you right now. I think that
Oh,
I've been
gee.
talking about this, and I like you a lot,
Do you?
a whole
Well,
lot.
I don't know about that.
Oh, it's true.
Okay. I don't
But
know.
but
I'm
I've
dubious.
been talking about this for days.
Because I just want everyone who's listening to know that he criticizes my writing pretty much every day. So, yeah.
I never
Yeah, you
criticize
do.
your writing.
Go ahead. It's all right.
What?
That's your job as an editor, but I'm just saying. It's just to be clear.
What?
So,
No, that
Yeah.
was just it's heartfelt, and it makes me
I
stop
want everyone
and
to know all the whole story.
go
So
back
go
to my
ahead, do your mansplaining thing.
Question my
Okay.
thing.
What's happening now? Explain about all the governors.
Oh, the governor.
importance of-
Oh, yes. The thing I've been talking about endlessly for days with you.
Yeah.
You're probably sick about hearing. So you asked me this question, so I would just say it out loud once and get it off my
No,
chest.
I think it's important to understand.
This election is substantial. Everyone says, oh, this is the most important election of our lifetime. It is, because it's going to have consequences in 2020, 2022, and beyond, because the census is coming up in 2020. When you have Stacey Abrams and Andrew Gillum, just to pick two, and Rob Cordray in Ohio as well, you have these Democrats in position to win governorships in time for the next redistricting and census. If you want to get rid of gerrymandering in these states, look at what happened in Pennsylvania once Tom Wolf, the Democrat here, won the governorship, even though it's a Republican legislature. If you want to get rid of gerrymandering, and the same thing happened in North Carolina when they elected a Democratic
That's
governor.
right, yeah.
If you want to get rid of gerrymandering, you need a Democratic governor. Stacey Abrams will dismantle the voter suppression system in Georgia. Andrew Gillum will dismantle the system and re-expand early voting in Florida so that Democrats actually turn out again in Florida. The same thing will happen in Ohio. So what you're going to see is the whole map for 2020 is going to change. Democrats are going to have opportunities to take back even more states that Trump won.
Don't you wonder, and I wish the media would put this, when they do their he said, she said, they never put any context in it. And the context I would like everyone to be aware of right now, this is driving me absolutely nuts. Why, from what you just said it like it's a fact, right? That if Democrats are in, more people will be allowed to vote. Why do you think media, Republicans don't want people to vote? Could it be that people don't like their policies? And if they don't, why is that? Maybe their policies aren't good for the people? Maybe we could put that in context so that we could actually have a conversation about what's happening in this country, because it isn't, quote, polarization. It's one side beating up. And that side is like the elite people in charge in the Republican Party beating up on the rest of the country.
It's like the minority terrorizing the majority.
Yeah, they're stealing rights from people. This is what's happening in this country, and the media acts like it's, they're going to be the arbiter of this little squabble. It's not a squabble.
Both sides don't do it. I brought it up for you. I put it in there for you.
Thank you.
Just so you didn't have to.
All right. So if people turn out in this election, it has ramifications going down the road.
Big ramifications down the road.
For other elections.
Years and even decades. Because once the districts are redone and the census is done, that's a 10-year thing.
And then you get protections in other ways
Yeah.
as well. You get health care protections sometimes by the state that you don't have federally.
One quick story, right on that. Again, Tom Wolf here in Pennsylvania. Even though Trump took out the mandate, Republicans are saying they're gonna allow garbage plans to be sold all over the country. Tom Wolf in Pennsylvania said there will be none of that in his state while he's governor. That's the difference, and I think you're going to see that difference happen in Michigan. You're going to see it happen in Ohio. You're going to see it happen potentially in Florida and even Georgia. It's a sea change for the country, no matter what happens with Congress.
I hope that if this does happen, and people see once again what it's like to live under democratic rule, I hope that they don't take it for granted this time. And instead of staying home and buying into the media's crap about their leadership and about, yes, I'm still bitter about 2009, because of the media beating up on Obamacare.
But there's 10 people at that Tea Party rally
That's
were
right.
newsworthy.
I'm still mad about that. Because why? It was 3 people that CNN was covering.
I
3
know.
people at a rally. And now we have the resistance all over the place. And what am I getting? Here's a picture of a Trump supporter crying because she's so happy to see her,
She's going to be crying for another reason when she loses her health care.
She probably already has lost her health care. Who knows?
Yeah, well, that's MAGA for you.
MAGA, yeah. So let's just, I hope that people have taken a big lesson from what's happening right now, and that they carry this inside of them as we move forward, and hopefully Democrats start to take back this country piece by piece, and we have some sanity, morality, decency. Oh, how about civility? Could we use a little civility? Because civility looks like, does it look like asking someone not to eat their cheese platter in your restaurant, or does civility look like not locking up babies? That's my question. I'm really just throwing it out there, not sure what it means.
I think we're going to do all this again tomorrow at some point, aren't we?
I hope not.
For Election Day.
I would like to see, I'd like to be very busy on Election Day, and I would like to see just massive turnout.
I'm in another podcast.
Oh, yes. I'm going to close now this one. We will do another podcast tomorrow. In closing, I want to read to you what John Lewis said. I gave a little blood on that bridge in Selma 53 years ago. I'm not asking any of you to give any blood. I just want you to go and vote. Thanks for joining us today. I will talk to all of you tomorrow on Election Day. Hang in there. Get out to vote. Take 5 friends.